adjust by any means necessary, which kind of beefs up the adjust. And also, and this is actually, I just don't know the answer to this question, so maybe you can help and maybe the other side can help as well. Algonquin was very careful to always call it a license and a licensing fee, and in the oral argument that came up too, the distinction between a tariff and a licensing fee. And I can understand how in some contexts it would be very difficult. You would press on it and you would say, well, if this license fee is raising revenue, then it actually functions as a tariff. But what is the significance of that? Because in IEPA, it also says, it refers particularly to licenses. It says you can license, and license would be a way of giving permission. That's actually the language also used in the Civil War one, and what is it?
Hamilton against Dillon.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes, it does.
It was a license, it was a license fee, and that's a way to grant permission that you wouldn't otherwise have to trade and import and let it through. So tell me what the distinction is between licenses and fees and if it matters.
It's hard for me to see one because what President Lincoln said is, okay, we're going to allow imports from hostile foreign powers, basically rebellious Confederate states, of cotton subject to a license, but you got to pay 4 cents a pound on cotton. When you do it, that's the condition. That is so nearly equivalent to a tariff that says you can bring these goods into our country, but you got to pay a ad valorem assessment on it. And of course, they have in their briefs conceded that quotas apply, that licensing may apply. There is the language in the beginning of 1701 that talks about instruments, or other methods, instruments, licenses.
But if that were true, why couldn't you just call this a license? And it's also true that in the cotton example, the court said the exaction itself was not properly a tax, but a bonus required as a condition precedent for engaging in the trade. So it seems like it was a little squirrely about how it was proceeding. And if there really is no distinction, why couldn't you just call it a license here?
Very briefly, the other two cases, the Polk case and then the President McKinley case, talk about duties. So I see an equivalence there, Mr. Chief Justice.
Thank you, counsel. Justice Thomas, anything further?